Welcome to the Friday edition of Good Morning Anambra, the press review segment. My name is Ajuluchuku Okabwe. We'll say a good one to us this lovely day, hoping for the best that will culminate into the weekend. But like we always do on the flagship program of the ABS, where we get to bring our analysts to look into the dailies that we have for you this morning and get to talk about topical issues happening in the country. Well, without wasting much of your time, my guest is already seated here in the studio, waiting to delve into the business and the nitty-gritty of what we have for you today. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Just relax. Get your cup of hot coffee. The show is about to begin. Well, thanks for joining us. And in the studio with me this morning for paper review is Ifeanyi Okadibo Ogwebunam, who happens to be a public affairs analyst. Good morning, Ifeanyi.
It's a pleasure being here. My people.
No matter how it be, we'll keep fighting on.
Are we in war? We are not.
Life is a battlefield.
Life is a battlefield. But it seems the battle in Nigeria is different from that. But then let's get into the...
When you get over there, you also see how it is.
How it is, exactly.
Yeah.
Like the popular philosopher will
It's not a cup of tea.
Yeah, that...
They know the 10 person for this one.
On easy lies the head that wears the crown.
Yeah,
Let's
sure.
see how it applies. And the first paper for review this morning is the Daily Trust newspaper. And the banner headline is saying, petrol will be available by weekend. That's coming from the minister. Price hikes shoot up cost of foodstuffs. Beans hit 200,000 naira per bag in Kano, Lagos. Local rice goes for 140,000 in Kaduna. Dangote refinery to determine price by October. And we also see Naira crashes at 1,639 naira per dollar at parallel market. Businesses disrupted as Kwara tricycle riders protest fuel price hike. Toji must face justice. Nigerian Northern Elders tell federal government. Terrorists enslaving us to work on their farms. That's coming from residents of Niger State. 3 killed as building collapses in Kano. ICPC queries Ngige over alleged contract job racketeering. Burkina Faso issues new passports without ECOWAS logo. Wow, that's interesting. Quickly, let's see what we have. Petrol will be available weekend, says minister. Fine. You know, this whole week has been all about...
We're already in the weekend now.
Yeah, the weekend has already begun. So
here we are.
Let's see where the respite is going to come or where the holding has been. That will be released within few hours.
Sometimes it's good for breeze to blow. Maybe they see foul nyash. Not say foul nyash, they had to see. Weekend is here. I just hope and believe our people should start telling ourselves some basic truths. We are not planning anything, even our own debt. And management philosophy says, he who fails to plan has already planned to fail. You know? Most times we just get ourselves in a course out of nothing. Where if I na kwado, yeni nebo mbelede. Mbelede keji amadi kenya ke mbelede enyi kwanu dike. Ina fugo na mbo for na yabu mbelede na anyi ai. Dike ihe petrol unwe. Yabu mbelede enyi lai.
Of course.
Yeah, afya la yaro. Odi aika okoko enyi mamili. But we just hope and pray that we'll find our way out of it, because it's virtually affecting every part of every facet of our life. Every facet of our life, you know, because look at it, price of beans, it's 300 per bag in Kano. Before you now add the cost of moving it to the southeast, you quantify what is left, and that's also costing Naira to crash. Onye bu ofu pa we jafia, buru so owi bu ofu pa ofu aka n'ife. nwere ihe tụgwara ya atụgwa just bara ana na ọba gị kelu ụsọ ji ikpuru ewu ikpuru atụrụ getere akwụkwọ nri jebe afịa elu ebe ihe kwa eji gị welu. That's exactly what's happening to our naira. We are mono trading nation, crude oil. That's all. Not that we don't have other resources. The other day I saw online indigenes of Zamfara State that have been able to mine raw gold. The guy had these bags of rice, about 15, 20, and I begin to ask, where is this being sold? Or is it a phenomenon of Akwa Okoko, the Mansilimananko Gazi, the Mandera? Well, that's where we are. That's where we found ourselves these days, and it's quite unfortunate that we have all and we lack all. What a paradox.
Well, what a paradox. But then, still talking about the petrol hike and then how it affects the price of food commodities in the market. Most worrisome is the story here telling us how terrorists are enslaving farmers in Niger State, forcing them to work on their own farms and probably taking the dividends and the crops to themselves.
Sure, no food, no life. No food, no life. You can't run such criminal gangs without food. It's not possible. It's not possible. So the criminals also need food. The non-criminals need food. So it's a question of how do we now get the food? And, just look at it. It takes a period between planting and harvesting. Are you getting me? And we've been in a war, no matter how we try to look at it. The Boko Haram crisis and the militancy in the north has lasted for onward of 12 years. No matter what we have as a national reserve, my brother, when nothing comes in, we're just picking up from the one we have, obviously will come to an end. And I think that's where we almost are. I pray God to help us out, because before now, the terrorists normally pursue the farmers out of the farmlands. Or they rose, so whatever that is left is exhausted, completely exhausted. So the only option is to get these farmers, not chasing them out of the farm, but making them work for
the terrorists.
What an irony. What an irony. I'm saying, like Chinua Achebe wrote in one of his novels, he said, he who doesn't submit to anything will one day submit to his own grave. That's where we are. But it's also a pointer to the deficiency of our security apparatus. It's a big pointer to their inefficiencies. Virtually all arms of our security has intelligence. Are these intelligence being harmonized, including road safety? They have intelligence group. Those informations coming from this intelligence group, why is it not being harmonized for prevention rather than reactionary actions? Because what we see today is reactionary actions rather than preventive actions. Who are these terrorists? Do they come from heaven? Are they ghosts? Are they angels? Where are they coming from? Are you telling me that up to today, our security apparatus have not been put to unmask the mask and those behind the mask?
There is no day you read the Nigerian Daily, you don't come about a story concerning linking terrorism to a place, a location. So that's to tell you that there's an identity to these people.
So what are we talking about?
This one is talking about Niger residents.
That's what we are saying.
So these things are not far-fetched. They are not coming from this.
Imagine somebody telling one Turaji we face whatever. And our adage says, and Igbo adage says, this man has been identified. They know him. It's now that they are shouting, stop, you must face this, you must. But when he was doing the small part of this illegality, what was the reactions of the people? What did they do then to stop him? Now, what to give me? We accommodate evil, thinking that we can make change.
Or because it's not directly affecting us.
Well, whatever. Now it's all around.
It has blown up on our faces. Quickly, let's go to the next paper for review this morning. The Daily Independent. Tinubu tax NNPCL orders to address fuel scarcity pricing. And the writer says federal government advises panic buying, claims PMS availability. Says petrol will be available throughout country by weekend. to allow Dangote's refinery set petrol prices from October. New petrol price does not reflect market realities, lament NNPCL. Reveals it has supplied 30 million barrels of crude oil to Dangote refinery. You have NNPP sacks executive in 5 states. You can find out on page 6 of the Daily Independent. And at the mast there, you have Nigerians face hurdles with new UAE stringent visa policy. And then the writer says travel agencies lament fewer bookings on Emirates. Against Basa, Emirates sells tickets in dollars to Nigerians. Clark asks IGP to arrest Wike over threat to put fire in PDP states. Describes statement as treason. Interesting. CSOs give federal government 7 days to address all end bad governance cases. And the writer there says, condemn repression of civil democratic voices, crippling economic policies. Burkina Faso introduces new passports without ECOWAS logo. Xi Jinping pledges $50 billion for Africa to shore up China's influence. Tinubu advocates collaboration to attain global prosperity. Reps Minority Caucus asks federal government to reverse petrol hike price. That's on page 6. You find that. NNPCL yet to lift any product. Dangote refinery. Petrol price hike, commuters stranded, businesses paralyzed as transporters protest in Kwara. Quickly, let's merge that together with the Punch newspaper, beginning with the headline. NNPC ties Dangote petrol price to forex rates. NNPC begins lifting Dangote refinery petrol September 15. Vessels begin offloading. Queues worsen. And you have 63 TCN towers destroyed in 8 months. That's coming from the federal government. Massive flooding to hit 7 states soon, says federal government. ICPC grills Ngige over NSITF contracts. And you have terrorism financing, police to quiz Ajero September 25th. PSP officials condemn member arrest over land dispute. Reps back ban on under 18 SSCE UTME candidates. Wow, it's a case of misplaced priority with that last story there. Quickly, let's see conflicting stories we are having here, but then we'll still get back to that. China pledges $50 billion for Africa to shore up China's influence. We have not seen the end of the issue of the Ogun State EPZ transaction with the Chinese company that warranted the Chinese company to seek, court someone to get Nigeria's properties, you understand, seized abroad. And now we are talking about 50 billion that is coming from the same China to Africa. And Nigeria is definitely going to be part of the people that will be recipients on that. Would that failed business transaction between China and the Chinese company and Ogun State not be, bring us in a bad light to know that sometimes these people can't even be trusted in business? Well,
due diligence is always very important. When you put square pegs in round holes, that's what you get. It's unfortunate that our so-called elites, I put the word so-called, and then those in power, fail to understand that as far as business is concerned, there's nothing called mistake. It must be correct. 2 gera, 1 shekel, or nothing. Sometimes, we are used to impunity. We're used to not respecting agreements and contracts. So when you do that with a civilized society, or in a civilized society, or with a civilized person, it punishes you. It deals with you outright. And that doesn't stop more businesses. But it's a marker, it's a good warning that next time, cross your T's and dot your I's. And learn to respect agreements. A musician say agreement is agreement. That's how it is. Before you delve into your words and putting your signature on paper, be sure you tie up your own end. And failure to tie up your own end has implication. I like what happened. So that's, yeah. Sometimes my father will always say,
what happened was between a state, but the embarrassment was felt in the
what,
nation.
who is, where the funding is coming from another state within a country as well. What are we saying? You see, that's why when you see somebody telling you global prosperity, I laugh. It's just a mirage. Prosperity is at the grassroots, it's at the micro level. It is the accumulation of that prosperity at the micro level that gives you prosperity at the macro level. If the homes and majority of the families or productive activities are just at the optimal level, don't talk about prosperity. It's not there. That you have all the mineral resources that God has ever created does not make you prosperous. It doesn't. You must put that to work. You must put that to work. And to put that to work requires a lot of planning. And unfortunately, we don't know what is planning. We don't know what is timing. We just do things haphazardly. And that's why we are where we are, in a crossroad. We've been on this crossroad for onward of 10 years without people sitting down to ask themselves, how did we get there? What is the next way out? We are just a crab. You know, when a crab is moving on its own, he can achieve whatever he wants to achieve. Just bring them together. Put them in one place. No one of them will go. Because everybody will put each other down. Why have we not sat down to start asking ourselves pertinent questions? What is wrong? Where did we get it wrong? Introspect. No. But rather, everybody is, just busy, gyrating within the same cycle, at least to the best of my knowledge, if I've been studying this whole mess for the past 4 years.
Well, still talking about the mess that we find ourselves in, how will I say, what's the business ideal for Dangote to be the one to regulate the price of fuel? The crude oil that Nigeria supplies to you, there is, this is more like I give you commodity refined, then you sell. And not only that, you've been taking these products outside the shores of Nigeria to refine, and then you bring back in the era where there was subsidy. And now, even with the Dangote refinery, rolling out petrol products, we are still finding them more expensive than when we had them going outside to refine.
I remember about 3 days ago, one of my friends was asking me, why am I not discussing petroleum and the crisis in petroleum? I told him, as far as I understand, I know there is no truth. And the business about petroleum and NNPC activities are shielded in secrecy. No truth. No iota. Eziokwu aderia. Ufunkule eziokwu aderia. Basic questions begging for answer. First, Nigerians like monopoly. Dangote is not an exception. Saw someone ato. Saw someone. Man, you cannot develop a nation with such. Me. It's not done anywhere. Now, what was the business arrangements and agreement with Dangote before these products were supplied? The highest we have ever seen is that the product will be sold to him in Naira. Rate unknown, undefined. Secondly, what are the other business aspects of the transaction? Is it we supply you, you produce the product, then are we buying it off, or what? What happens to the byproducts? If any in Nigeria, I'm going to a lawyer saying a ribbon red, they catch 5. Or to a case, well, ribbon, catch see a benine. What's that? What is the business terms? Just like the issue we talked about in Ogun. It was yet until it failed that people start hearing what happened. Why are things so shielded in secrecy? Kedifa nezo. Polo nezuye. In order office, man na bono office. Onya amari for nya name, onya amari for nya. I think no nya bo civil service. Mbosi nwoke ka nwa ya anwu, ngwanu. So, any may go do mistake. Onwere onye fori ya we say, ndi ba isi ni isi na abo di anya na ano. Isi na abo di anya na ano. 2 heads are better than 1 in comma. 2 good heads, not 2 madmen. Because 2 madmen is equivalent to a madman. Why do we shield everything in secrecy? Why? How? You can't access any information, even when we have freedom of information. So here we are. Why would the man not set the prices of his business? Did he buy with cash? Did he buy on loan? He has also a cost that he's running. He's not producing those things for free. He cannot run charity organization with his business. It's a multi-billion naira business. So, I'm sorry to say it this way, but that's how it is. The man has his cost of production.
But at the same time, the federal government is still giving us assurances that in no time, the Port Harcourt
That has
refinery...
always been there now, my brother.
So probably maybe when the Port Harcourt refinery comes into full swing, into operation, which they promise us will be between...
You know one thing now, why people fail to understand. Machines don't die. They take different form. Because we are used to not planning, not having a roadmap in anything we do, we cannot run big, successful companies. Sir, the day you shut down refinery, you are building a new one. Because a lot of things are going to go wrong. So when you come in again to reactivate the refinery, it's as good as rebuilding it. So those words, turnaround maintenance is just a long story. Big company, anywhere in the world. A big company is to scrap it. Once you are sure you cannot continue production, you scrap it and set it afresh. So when you have those gigantic buildings standing there, as far as I'm concerned, it's a complete waste. Because the day you want to put them to use, you will discover that you're going to start off. So when you tell me Port Harcourt is going to work, Warri is going to work, I laugh. Where is going to work? The cracking unit or what? The storage? By the time you pass the first crude into the cracking unit, you discover a lot of holes because there's erosion. The pipes are eroded. Holes are everywhere. The supply pipe from wherever to a route to where you are going to assemble, do coagulation before you pump in for distillation. Because what's done there is this complete fractionating and distillation. By the time you come in, you discover that this cracking unit is not working. Okay, what do we do? You are starting. By the time you are done with this other one will start showing up itself. By the time you're done with it, so all like the coach here Bedford. Oh, man, Bedford. Wow, here Bedford. August are gone and there is in Pokota. So we must learn. It's just like that. I laugh. Somebody asked a question. All this while he was trying to set up those refinery or that refinery, did he not plan of supply? That's the question. So the refinery came on stream without supply. And you ask yourself, how was it? How did it?
You can imagine that administrations changed hands. So that is probably...
Sir, agreement is agreement. You cannot tell me that he was relying only on, because he told us that the refinery is a multi-arrangement refinery in such a way that it can crack any model, any type of crude.
We know that. And the capacity is not in doubt, one of the biggest. But at the same time, government...
We've not tested the capacities that come out of there. I don't work on assumptions. It is when it is completely loaded.
Yeah.
It comes on stream. When I mean come on stream, it's not test running. It's working consecutively, consistently, 2-4 hours, 7 days. Then we know, okay, we get machine. Then we wait for the imperfections that will come up in the cost of use. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. Then we talk about the maintenance. Do we have swift hands for maintenance? Just like your electric wire. When it's sparking, NEPA is not there. The wire will cut. Nobody will come because nobody is responsible. So I have come to the conclusion that you don't assume anything. Work on realities and facts before you. The refinery, beautiful project, no argument. Let's test it. Until we test, the test of the food is in the pudding.
In the pudding.
I say anya na erisi onu we eziokwu mana mgbe ụfọdụ anya risikwa ide nne ya ọnụ tinye nnu aṅarị ọsa anya so ọ mgbe erielo onye nwa sị na mgbe agbalụ na afa nwanne nna m mgbe agbalụ amala onye ka ike etigo nke diesel ọpụtago etigo fuel ọpụtago ka ichelu kerosene chelu aviation fuel then echelu the consistency of production.
And then even
and
the 9 derivatives from petroleum products.
So that's what those are the issues. So what really are we doing? Everything is shielded in secrecy and monopoly. Products have been supplied to him. Oh, fine, beautiful, wonderful. The products are coming out. Good, beautiful. How do we evacuate? What is the plan? Trucking, vessel, Pipeline? Nobody knows.
Well, let's get to the next papers for review, which is the Guardian and the Vanguard newspaper. Quickly, let's see the banner headline on the Guardian. Skilled workforce. Construction sites follow as reverse migration devaluation hit real estate. We have petrol. Federal government claims prices not being set. Anticipate availability by weekend. Concerns as Naira weakens to 1,639 Naira per dollar amid fuel price hikes. Threat to PDP governors. NILF Clark calls for Wike's sack, arrest and prosecution. Atiku faults Tinubu's focus on protesters above security reforms. Nigerians bleeding from economic policies, YCE, NBA, doctors tell Tinubu. BOL raises £1.43 billion via syndicated global loan. Federal government backtracks may lift age registration for WAEC and SSCE exams. Days after Mafia massacre, Boko Haram hit Yobe again. My patience running out. Abgachir wants Ludo. Quickly, let's see what we have on Vanguard. Reps, NBA, PDP orders demand petrol price hike reversal. Federal government not fixing petrol prices. Minister, PMS prices determined by free market forces. NNPC, that's coming from the NNPC. Further hike looms as NNPC says 897 Naira per litre, not market reflective. Federal government economical with truth on local refining, price, fuel price, and subsidy. That's coming from NECA. And then we have the security farmers, headers clash despite agri-sector GDP. FOCAC, Africa, China trade partnership hit $280 million. Army arrests student over kidnap mother of FUNAP students. Uncertainty surrounds petrol supply from Dangote refinery amid ongoing scarcity. And you can see on the page of the Vanguard the long queue, reminding me of the military era. Our Super Eagles will prove self against Benin. Rwanda, Awoniyi assures. And that's what we have on the front pages of both newspapers. Quickly, this story of NNPC and then the rest of it all is still it. But then let's talk about the threat coming from Wike. The young man seems to have been blowing hot based on what's been happening with his successor in Rivers State, talking about Governor Fubara. For how long would we continue to see a man working, earning his pay in a different political party and still poking people in his own party, like he claims? Because you can't seem to stand on both sides of a divide when it has to do with political ideology. Only in Nigeria do you see things happen like this. And what do you think PDP should do as a political party in order to put Wike in his right place?
Well, if PDP wants advice, they should pay for consultancy. That's number one. Number two, for the sake of our country, we need to talk when we need to talk. Number one, we are very good in building strong individuals rather than strong institutions.
So unfortunate.
How can an ex-governor be challenging a sitting governor and everybody is quiet? Look at threats. If Ike Clark can identify this as a threat, that will put fire in these PDP states. Even if the PDP states are 3 and you put fire in 3, then the National Security Advisor is comfortably seated and winding his chair in his office without inviting Wike to be queried. How can you have capacity for crime to the extent that you can be threatening a full state and shaking the nation? Then questions need to be asked. Bandits are not only those in the bush or those who are compelling farmers to farm for them. They are also bandits everywhere. How can a human being be threatening the peace? But if I want to go on strike now, police will come and arrest me. If I carry placard now in front of ABS, you see, within the next 25 minutes, B division will come and then be asking me,
Your action is treasonable.
series of questions, irregular questions and nonsense questions that's coming from nowhere. Somebody had the impetus to address PDP states, and he has not been called for questioning. But if Okadibo stands at Ring Road there in Agawaka to say, I no agree, the next thing you see that a men in black will come and pack me off. But somebody is seated in the comfort of his office and throwing threats up and down. I wish that he's invited to come and tell us the capacity of crime he has, and then he'll be evaluated on his capacity to create crisis. It's a problem. Wow. It's a problem. It's a problem. One man is telling states, PDP states, let's count them. Edo, Delta, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, at least 5 states, and these are 5 oil-producing states, who are inflammable. The federal government knows what spending to manage ex-militants within these zones. And you know that this is the bane of Nigeria economy, the South-South, where we milk our oil. I say milk, I didn't milk our oil, milk it. So understand the word milk is in quotes. So now, are the revenue base of this nation not supposed to be protected properly, that a former governor from there is threatening the peace of the PDP states, which invariably is a threat to the economic capacity of Nigeria? Even when we are in crisis, we are in economic doldrum, and somebody is somewhere still threatening the economic base, and the city minister for that matter. Then, freedom of association, it gives him the opportunity to put one leg here, put one leg here. But I do ask, onye tilo biana keke tilo biana trailer, how move ayekiri ife yemen, the whatever nationhood or nation building. The other day, just yesterday now, France president appointed a prime minister not from within his own caucus or his own political ideologies and all was. Even in Germany, the far rights are pushing and are also accommodated within the governance of the country. Yeah. It's not out of place. But what we are talking about is somebody who is sitting within the ambits of power, threatening the peace of the entire nation. We should look into that.
Well, quickly, let's see what we have on the Nation and the Tribune newspaper before we come back and then talk a bit about something that I really want to talk about. Why Dangote Refinery petrol is yet to hit markets. Agreement on pricing templates between firm, government yet to be reached. Well, that's interesting.
I think this is the best truth.
Lagos Chinese firm signed pact on 68-kilometer green rail line. How social media is fueling banditry by army. That's coming from the army. Emefiele, court fixes Thursday to hear application on fortified assets. And Bank of Industry raises 1.43 billion euros in global loan syndication. And then we have more stakeholders reject LP caretaker committee. Then we have our government rolls out sale of 30,000 metric tons of rice for 40,000 naira. Customs, well, that's too faint to see. Customs explain delay in import duty waiver policy. Well, it's been over 1 month since federal government.
I don't support import policy waiver. I don't. It will kill our local economy. My brothers and sisters in Ayamelum have farmed rice, 25 hectares, 15 hectares. So when you import those your called foreign rice, what becomes of the local businesses? I don't support such.
What?
I don't support such. Because Cherish is doing marvelously well in agriculture. It's centered on farm, rice. So when you now throw our borders open for us to come back to dumping nation, what becomes of our farms? What becomes of our farms? Hey,
well, the federal government,
a little sleep, a little slumber.
The federal government are looking in
that is policy somersault, complete policy somersault.
Well, quickly, let's touch the last paper for review this morning, which is the Nigerian Tribune. Still talking about the petrol price hike. Nigerians lament forced into belt tightening measures. trek distances, abandon private cars for commercial transportation, accuse government of insensitivity, prices of items skyrocket, transport fares increase, alleviate suffering of Nigerians without further delay, YCE tells Tinubu. NMA, Northern Coalition, reps minority caucus want a reversal. Wanting a reversal is to what price, if I might ask?
The first issue is that we are already on a free market economy as far as petroleum product is concerned. And the only way for prices to be reversed is not sitting on the armchairs of your table and be shouting. First, what is the total quantity of PMS, AGO, Jet A1 that this country needs? It must be established, critically clear. Then, what do we have? Does it measure up? Truth is only one. When things are done haphazardly, that's what you get. As we speak, how many liters of PMS do this country need to run per day?
We've heard conflicting reports, 96 million per day.
So if we are, let's use their facts, their figures, because not a fact. Their figures is different from facts.
Fact, yeah.
Now, whatever million, what is the planning, the supply plan? Is it going to reach half? Is it quarter? Or is it full? Because the price of any goods is dependent on its availability. You cannot force the man who has one goat in the whole of Nigeria to sell his goat beyond what he is expecting to gain. That's monopoly. So first, we run a monopoly in every aspect of our businesses. We run monopoly. Secondly, we have not been able to establish demand and supply of whatever we're doing until we come to apply some of this knowledge, until we come to this reality. Onye mụrụ ụmụ ịsatọ wee je mata iko garị na abụọ ọ sị na ụmụ ya eriju afọ ebe ka afọ ha dị except na ha eri nri because iko garị na abụọ ya zuru ọrụ mmadụ ịsatọ. These are realities, pure realities. Iwelu ezinụlọ unu the mother is isii same need with 200 naira ni yenyefa nni except maybe the era of Jesus Christ 2 ton
5 loaves and 2 fishes.
Let's to be real in whatever we are planning and doing. We cannot tell our population as we speak. We can't tell our population. We can constructively say this is the number of graduates we are producing. We cannot for a fact say this is the volume of employed Nigerians anywhere. Even the universities cannot tell us the number of students they have as a student, as a school. What is all this, man? We should ask.
Well, since you've now brought it to the educational sector, let us talk about this issue, this WAEC NECO limit. But now, it's captured on the front page of the Tribune, the Nigerian Tribune, WAEC NECO age limits. Federal government may exempt gifted children.
That's what is done anywhere in the world. But the question is gifted in quotes.
So who falls into that category?
That's what we're talking about. You see, we always make statements. Okay, read this headline. Forfeited assets by Emefiele. The court is to try on Thursday.
Yeah.
Which Thursday? Is it yesterday that was Thursday? Is it Thursday of the next week? You know, we say things that are not concrete and ambiguous, so that we create room for meandering. You know. So when that's why anywhere I am, the first thing I tell you, I was discussing the other day at Owerri Road with a transporter, and I told him, sir, what you presented on the table is ambiguous. It's ambiguous. Call a spade a spade. Call a shovel a shovel. Okay. Ogini. We always do things with ambiguity. Not defined. Not specific. Only in Nigeria, you will hear OBT, obtaining by tricks. You will hear, which other one? What do you call it? Yahoo. You will hear pen robbery. You know, stealing is stealing. Forget these guy names that we give them. You know, what's wrong is wrong. What's bad is bad. Simple. If an ad rom, banditry, kidnapping, just People just come up, wake up and use one word, you know. Use of English, well, freedom of speech guarantees us to say whatever we want, but then it doesn't change the facts on ground. The facts on ground is, what's wrong is wrong. If an drama. If an drama. No, no one you men who na laboratory na dia kedi he ya. When did he? Omoro mmadụ ọmụa n'ọfịa. Ọ bụla oke ọ bụrụ nwunye.
Now, let us wrap up with this concluding this story on the front page of the Nation newspaper, how social media is fueling banditry, and that's coming from the Nigerian army.
They don't know what they are saying. They don't know what they are saying. So I remember, at the peak of Boko Haram, they first destroyed all the base stations within their areas of operation. True or false?
Of course, true.
So where is the social media there? You know what the challenge is? The challenge we have now
Maybe
is,
what he's trying to say
is to gag the press. Nothing more. They want to gag the press. They want to gag this independence we are enjoying, where in the comfort of your room you can say what is happening. So what they want is to bring, I cannot be party to gagging the press. Rather, I will also be party to fake news. We're also battling that. Yes, there are a lot of fake news.
That is the part where the army chief probably, or rather,
the army chief is part of the fake news now. Because what he says cannot be proved. It cannot be proved. I tell you, it cannot be proved.
There's some misleading information regarding terrorism and banditry in some parts of the country.
And I ask, sir,
Yeah,
is there banditry?
there is.
Is it widespread?
Why? Of course it is.
So what are you saying? So what is social media doing there? That social media was able to explain it and bring it to fore. Instead of hiding it. What they want is people should not know the truth and the basics of the truth that is happening. Don't tell me. No, they should not try gagging the press. Say, but
some of these people using phones and other gadgets are not trained in the area of journalism.
Very beautiful.
Exactly. So that's probably where the young man is.
What we'll be talking about, sir. You see where I'm talking about ambiguity. He made an ambiguous statement without placing the facts. What we should be talking is, please, for whatever you say, be responsible, because you will answer to it. I run a media company. I write on social media. And sometimes when you write, I ask you, are you responsible? Can you prove it? See, let's hold people by what they say and do.
And post.
Say and do. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So when you are posting anything, be responsible. Be responsible. If somebody has been caught, yes, they insult people on social media. I've been insulted. Even in our local platform here in OE constituency, now people insult people. No arguments. But I do tell them, one day will come, you will stand to answer to what you have done and what you are writing. So before you write and post, be sure it's facts. If they are telling me here now that the army, Nigerian security and Nigerian intelligence are now ready to pin you by whatever you write on the social media,
sanity will come. Sanity will definitely come.
But not this ambiguous statement that social media is responsible. So without social media, they in their office will not even know what is happening. Their intelligence is so poor. The intelligence gathering, intelligence analysis is so poor. So poor. Look at a typical example. The closest police station to Okuno, Okochime, is B Division. If the man in Okochime does not raise his voice, B Division is here. The distance is over 500 meters. Do you have enough policemen to police there? And you want to gag the social media. What we'll be talking about is be responsible for what you write. Be responsible for what you say, because you'll be called upon to expatiate and present the facts. Beautiful, good. Then the madness will stop. No, but as far as I'm concerned, even in writing, you should not use ambiguous word. Obi is a boy, full stop. He is dark in complexion. Not Obi is a boy, dark in complexion. By the time you put the synthesis into it, it becomes rubbish. Now, when we set platforms and principles, then things begin to work well. An average Nigerian graduate has never been taught how to face an interview or write an application letter. And you want him to go and work in the industry. Which industry? An industry is aligned, completely, separated from. I thank Nnamdi Azikiwe University for at least letting our farmers have a feel in the Ifitogwari, Then you come to the issue about age limit for academia.
Yeah.
I support that 100%. I support that 100%. Where are we really rushing to? The other day I was discussing with somebody in Ifite. He told me that is the cousin, a 14 years old, is already in year 2. And I begin to ask, capacity to comprehend, capacity to assimilate and reproduce, measure. It's not there. This is a child who cannot even go to market on her own and buy things. He's already in year 2. So by the time he comes out, the society has produced another misfit. Yeah, another misfit. But part of the problem is that we're running so that I will be able to fix my child before I go. So, yeah, you understand the language?
I understand.
Now, hi, so the limited spaces on your so Madam Okwadoli, if I will mobu or questioning, you might go deeper. Oh, yeah, so why? So, no one and a bumbo can one be quadobe where when no. When we're powers around me, we're going to make you fix in here. Cobo no go see go. Come on, 1,000 bueno now. Kamalo kai estimate. If the system is made to run, it will accommodate everybody. If the system is made
to accommodate every person on merit.
Sir, even those without merit will be accommodated. Do you know why?
Why?
The system will just. Sir, have you not seen? Let me give you a typical example.
Round up because we don't have time.
When a tree flowers,
yeah,
some falls off naturally. They are withered off.
Of course.
Nature has come to do the examination on them. Even when it's fruit, there may be only 2 that survive from the flowering, pollination to. At the end, nature will come to re-examine those 2 remaining fruits. When they come and examine them, and one is found wanting, that one will automatically fall off. So the best of the proceeds come out. That is how we are supposed to design our policies. In such a way that the best will come out. Man, if I name a buluzo, feature see I'm vedi, maybe vedi in dikili. I can find chaboku. Oh, boku. I'm if I need Quamaromia, blues or Muyon say, can I know police here?
You will learn in the course of.
Oh, beautiful. I don't have issues with it. Let us keep learning in the process.
Well, thank you
and
so
keep
much.
Making all the mistakes. I look at life as a production plan.
Of course, but
once an error in any of the production processes, the quality control will throw it away. If the quality control allows it to fly out, then we have a defect. That's what is happening.
Thank you so much, Ifeanyi Okadibu Ogunye Bunam, for availing yourself the opportunity to join us this morning for press review. We want to say a big thank you to you.
Thank you, ABS, for allowing me vent my little knowledge I have and then advise our people. What I I'm catch up like a Simabana, Cassonia, Nicole, and me. I'm Malify Mabana.
Thank you so much. We'll still have other programs lined up for you on the other side. And my name is still Ajuluchuku Okabwe. Wishing you a nice time. Happy weekend.